All right.
So finally, we could talk about Rogue One, a Star Wars story.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, and
So,
like I said at the beginning of this recording here, this is on Tuesday, the 27th of December,
yeah.
2016. So yeah, literally a couple of hours before we actually met up online here through Skype,
Yeah.
we got the bad news about Carrie Fisher dying at
So,
age
so,
60.
so yeah, this old joke is like, looks like I pick a wrong week to stop sniffing glue.
Where did I hear that from?
The airplane.
Airplane, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that
Yeah.
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. This was a big one. The death of Carrie Fisher is, I'll say, not since Leonard Nimoy it really hit me. This, it felt this close to home to have such a big sci-fi icon, go away and pass away.
And a female one at that too. I think
in some
maybe
ways,
one of the first female, like, female characters like really loved and respected in the, in the sci-fi genre. Yeah.
Right. And for me, I, I kind of prepare for it mentally in a sense because, she had the heart attack a couple of days ago.
Yeah, and then we heard we was in stable condition, so I thought, oh, okay,
right.
well, it was done hard enough. We lost George Michael on Christmas Day.
Then stable condition was not necessarily a guarantee. And then I was like, okay, maybe. And then in my head, I was like, she, that she had a big, like a lot of drugs she did in the 70s and 80s, so she kind of burned the candle at both ends. And that wax will come back when you come off her drugs. But she lived a solid life, and a car, fret from that. And the big thing with her, just a quick little Hollywood trivia. I'm not sure how much people know this, but she was a big, great script doctor.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yes. Now I remember. Sorry about that. Yeah.
Right. She's a big script doctor, and so her contribution to the industry is more a matter of just making a bunch of films she made great. A bunch of films that would have been forgettable of, and she actually made these films great. If you think about it from that standpoint, the real people who actually when they sit down and make a script work, how to the actor's great and the director and blah blah blah. It's script had to work. Script had to be good.
Didn't she work with? I think it was either Avengers or some other show that Joss Whedon was involved in. I think.
I'm not aware of that.
Okay.
I knew she stopped script doctoring a while now, a good while now. But back in the early 2000s, late 90s, she was a really good script doctor. From if I remember correct, she's a good writer. We know her as Leia Organa, but she's a great writer. She's a fantastic writer, actually, and she understands how to fix scripts. And if I remember correctly, she was actually fixing a lot of Empire Strikes Back on set.
Oh, really?
That's how good she was. She used to cut out whole sections and say, no, this is gonna flow better. This is gonna flow better this way between this character and this character, because she understood how her character works and how the other characters would work in tandem with her character. She was really sharp in that way. And yeah, this is a huge loss to the industry. I mean, it's unbelievable. It didn't hit me yet because it's just a couple hours. But the more and more I think about it, it's unbelievable how much she, not only as a actress, but as just a writer and just just a creator in general, how she would impact the industry for the future. And she had a nice little swan song with we're going to talk about Rogue One. She had a nice swan song with that. It's almost perfect.
And a particular moment, that particular moment, I imagine, gonna make a lot of people either cry or just even louder.
No, this one really has me choked up, genuinely. It's really a big deal. So I don't know. May the force be with you, Leia Organa.
Always unfair.
Always. As they say, we love you. I know. Classic line.
For real. That line.
This one is a big one. More. She really was a great impact on the industry. Do you remember Jan Silent Bob Strikes Back? Her role in that?
Yes, I remember really enjoying that movie.
When she played this nun, she played a nun, and that whole thing involving cunnilingus. So it was really funny.
Yeah, it made sense for her to be there because even right down to the font that they used for the title, it's all the Star Wars reference anyway.
Star Wars, right? Yeah, exactly. This one is a big deal. So I don't know. The death of Carrie Fisher is a big deal. She will really genuinely be missed. I was always think of big deaths, in the celebrity culture and the world at large. This year was a big year. 2016 fucking sucked in that week.
Oh my God, was it a big year, boy? Yeah.
A bunch of damn celebrities dead. I think about 5 or 6 years ago, a bunch of celebrities dead. I was like, what the hell? When Michael Jackson dead? Like 2009, 10?
I believe it was 9. Yeah.
Okay. Right. And remember that whole year was a bullshit. The late 90s had a bunch of celebrity deaths as well, if I remember correctly. 1997, I think, had a big year. I think Princess Diana died. Mother Teresa died.
I know Biggie died March 9th.
Biggie died, yeah. Biggie died. George Burns, a bunch of people. So it's one of those years where you just have to take your lumps, move on, and it really, really is unfortunate and sad. Because to me, this year it had plenty of celebrities that died, but for me, it wasn't like that big. For me, it wasn't like a big blow for me.
Like one thing, for example, like George Lucas. Wow, like George Michael passing away.
Right, George Michael. That was. But I was not big. I was not a big fan of him. But people like Anton Yelchin was really hurt because of how young he was.
Yeah. So by the way, I saw his performance in Green Room. Wow.
Right.
Amazing.
Yeah. He was. It's just such a early light snuffed out so early, and that was unfortunate and really, really sad. But yeah, this year was just all these celebrities. Had Prince dead, David Bowie, Alan Rickman. Fuck, I was like.
And Tickano, who was I believe it was last week.
Yeah, I was like, shit, Dread. Like all these great celebrities died. It's like, god damn, Dread. And it's like just these these bit players and character actors that died, comedians. People is like, oh shit, he dead. Wow, and in many ways, they're dead so young because Carrie Fisher is just 60. Like in today's world, that is not old.
It's not at all. No,
it's not old. When you hear somebody all 90 something died, because this guy, the famous Guyanese author died. He's like over 100. The guy who wrote To Serve with Love. I forget the Guyanese author's name.
Oh, I never knew his name, to be honest.
Shit, what's the guy's name? But I'm trying to remember.
Don't hurt you, but...
I'll tell you. Just so. Bradwaite. A.R. Bradwaite.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, yes, I've heard that name. Yes.
Right. Famous Guyanese author, Caribbean author now. When he died, he's like, yeah, cool. He's like 100 and some. He's like 104, whatever it is. Like 105, I'm sure.
Yeah, you live a real good life there, but clearly.
Right, exactly. I was like, okay, cool. But it's still a great mind that gone. Fine. But then Carrie Fisher's young, like 60. Like, holy shit. That died that young. And freaking Anton Yelchin was what, 27, 28? Like, jeez, man. Yeah. That hurt me. So, this one,
is it gone too soon once?
Right, exactly. That's the problem. Is that the person had a life, they still had a life ahead of them now. They still, as I say, this is the darkest timeline. This, in another world, this could have played out in such a great way. As I say, she was in episode 7. Yeah. Sammy's episode 8 and 9 have things to do still. She could have do stuff, but now they had to rewrite and do all this other stuff. And
I don't know. Well, I don't think they started shooting anything for episode 8 yet, did they?
No, they started episode 8. But I'm not sure if it's episode 9 didn't start yet. So it's whoever. And I could imagine there's all her friends, freaking Mark Hamill still alive, Harrison Ford still alive. Wow, just to see her go this way is really unfortunate and really sad. Yeah. And I got she will really be missed. This is unfortunate. I'll say since in this year, Alan Rickman was the other person who had me really like verklempt. And it's unfortunate and sad. And that's life. Life had to go.
I mean, we all have to pick ourselves back up and move forward. Try to make the most of our lives.
Yeah.
And she definitely did. She inspired a lot of actresses and just people in general, not just the acting. I don't know if she has a great quote. I just want the last line on her. Last little quick opinion on her. She had a great quote. I don't know if it's attributed to her. She probably just copied from something else. But she has a great line. She says, she makes a point about resentment. She says resentment is like drinking poison, expecting the other person to drop dead. I thought that was such a great point. It's like, look, don't hold on to things. Don't hold on to stuff for too long. If you know that it's not something that could perpetually be a problem, never hold on to it. That's what resentment is. Yeah.
And she say she's a person that didn't live in bad faith. And I have a massive amount of respect for that. So Carrie Fisher, Yeah, you're really a great contribution to our lives. And
yeah, most definitely.
Right,
and you live on in our hearts,
in our hearts and minds. Yes,
you've inspired a lot of people, and you will continue to inspire others as
well.
Right,
exactly. Too. So all I do, so my great memories with her is just her in a slave layer outfit, choking Jabba the Hutt.
my own is just seeing her being embraced by Rey from in Force Awakens. There's that one particular moment is just stuck in my brain right now. Like I just keep seeing that image.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's it. That's it. So
right. Let's talk about Star Wars. Yeah, we could just jump into Rogue One time. It's the first standalone film in the Star Wars cinematic universe. It's directed by Gareth Edwards, who quite recently brought out Godzilla, which I saw and I liked for what they were going for, but I felt that it felt really slow, and
I'll say that movie had character problems, not so much concept problems. It just had character problems.
Yeah, you didn't really care for anybody, whether it's Aaron Taylor Johnson.
They killed the characters that should not die.
Oh gosh, Bryan Cranston, and we didn't get enough Godzilla. But even if that was the point, it just didn't work for me. But other than that, it was a good show to see on big screen. Haven't seen it again.
Yeah, it was cool. Yeah. It was pretty cool. I thought it was okay. I didn't hate it. I get why some people might hate it, but I thought it worked. I won't say go as far as saying worked, but it was solid for its most part. I
just waited for like a sequel. I know the sequel will be way better, but this one,
the
first movie felt like oh well, we trying something. No, we're not too sure where we're gonna go. We trying something. Okay, this work. Right, this didn't work.
No, but we get in the new Kong movie, and I heard that's in the same universe. So
yes,
cool.
yes. From what I know,
that's in the same world. So great. So whatever. Yeah, we have something to build from. Yeah.
Yeah. So apart from apart from all that, no, sorry. It's set. It's never really stated how long right after the events of Episode 3, Revenge of the Sith, but it does occur just right before the beginning of Episode 4, A New Hope. It centers on the Death Star. One of the main players, one of the main people who were involved in its inception and creation, who just so happens to be the father of the heroine of this story, Jyn Erso, played by Felicity Jones. And she becomes part of this group of rebels who are given the task to go and try to acquire the plans to destroy the Death Star. Yeah. And just before we get into our reviews, what I like is that this movie here pretty much explains that whole, just the whole joke about the fourth movie. Oh, how come it was so easy to destroy the Death Star?
Right.
This movie kind of explains why.
Explains that quite well. Yeah.
Why this feels safe. And so Jyn and there's other people involved. So we have Diogo Luna, we have Donnie Yen, we have Riz Ahmed, Alan Tudyk.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. As the voice of
yes. Who's the voice of the best character hands on the whole show, K2SO.
K2.
Yeah. And also we have Forrest Whitaker, who plays this character from Star Wars Rebels, which honestly I've never seen.
Well, actually, he was in the character was in Clone Wars as well. Huh?
Okay, the series. I never watched Clone Wars or Rebels.
Right.
You see, right after Jendi Tartakovsky. Forgive me if
not Jendi Tartakovsky's Clone Wars.
I know the other one, the crappier animation. So I skipped Clone Wars and I skipped Rebels because I felt that it was going to be a repeat of Clone Wars. So
Clone Wars I don't care for, but I like Rebels. Rebels is solid.
All right.
Rebels is okay business.
Okay, so it's worth checking out.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I mean, if you're into it, you're into it. I mean, but it's okay. I actually recommend it.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And from the word go, this movie goes out its way to establish that this is not going to be your average Star Wars movie. So you're not going to get the adventurous music, and it's not going to be an adventure. This is more like a war film. This is more like gritty, down to earth kind of battles basically. So it's putting the war in Star Wars basically.
Yeah.
And that concept coming from Disney of all people. Disney owns the rights now to this franchise.
Right.
It was a huge risk, because this is right after Force Awakens, which came out last year.
Right.
Literally. So just that transition from straight up adventure / nostalgia beat to being something new and different while staying true to the original would have been a huge risk, I could imagine. But did it pay off? Ricardo, what you thought?
Okay, so this movie. Okay, so with the passing of Carrie Fisher, I was wondering if that's gonna affect my rating of the movie, and it does not all that much. This movie. Here's the problem.
Or problems.
You know, so, yes, well,
there were a few problems.
I think it's one big problem that creates a bunch of other problems. But here's the main problem.
What is it?
The main problem is that it's when you're trying to apply. It had the same problem Man of Steel had, which is you want to do realism and apply realism to a implicitly fantastical universe. So when it's time to explain how shit does work on a kind of technical, mechanical level, you start unraveling the tapestry that is Star Wars, right? Same goes to Superman, right? When it's time to explain how come this is this and this is this, and you want to make a world that explains that. When it's time to explain that, and you want to explain it in this grounded, gritty, realistic way, you unravel the tapestry.
Case in point, like how Zod was able to not just to, I mean, I understand when he reached down to Earth, he was able to, he got these powers. You understand but how he was able to adapt it all of a sudden.
Right, I mean, it have a bunch of other issues that Man of Steel had, but that is not what we're talking about in terms of like explaining, well, how come this character is here? And well, they had a bunch of cameos and references in this movie. And if you think Force Awakens was bad with the fan service, this one was in some ways much worse.
You find so? I find the first one, well,
no, Force Awakens.
The fan service in this one was kind of forced, and forced, haha. But especially in one of the film's final scenes, which I honestly enjoyed a lot. It was awesome. But still, it's like, they're just doing that for fan service. Like, we had to have this happen, you know?
Right. And here's the thing. I actually like this more than Force Awakens personally.
Me too. I actually like it a little bit more, but I'll say why when
but it have exactly almost all the same problems in the sense of catering to our audience, having a kind of stale, straightforward problem in terms of the narrative. And then because they try to make everything grounded and quote-unquote realistic, when it's time to think about it in the Star Wars world, a whole bunch of shit don't make sense. So they still have stormtroopers being massively incompetent and bungling in this movie. And that was taking me out of the shit. I was like, so you see a character shoot, and then you see stormtroopers shoot back, and all of them miss. I like, wow, I thought it was supposed to be kind of grounded and realistic. Now, this movie have its moments, It genuinely has some kick-ass cinematography.
Oh, yes.
They had some great shots in this. Some great shots in this. Like, the other part with the Death Star doing the eclipse thing, great.
Yes.
They had a great shot
over the sun, that was excellent.
Yeah, they had a great shot with the Death Star coming over the horizon. Kick-ass shot. But the problem is that it's more icing and no cake. That's kind of the problem with this movie. And I still had fun with it. But if I was and I didn't have a problem with it so much because I'm not a Star Wars fan. Because I'm not a big Star Wars fan, as opposed to a Star Trek fan, I could imagine Star Wars fans probably hating this and saying, "Wait, this don't make any sense, Jared, and this don't cut together very well, and this don't make any sense." And
well, funny I should mention that because I would imagine some Star Wars fans really enjoying it, but I could imagine that after a while, like once they get it on Blu-ray and you really watch it, they'll be like,
right,
yeah, that don't work though. Wait, that doesn't make any sense, right?
That's the problem. That's what I realized with this movie. While watching it, I remember telling you when we was watching it in
IMAX.
In Roxy, in Roxy. When we was watching it, I immediately told you, this have the same problem that Bada still have now. In that sense, is that the Star Wars universe, once you apply it, once you think about it in terms of technicality, in terms of how does this work and how does that work and where's the geography of the things are. Like, where is this planet next to this planet? Now, I can imagine have a bunch of Star Wars fans who know that shit and it makes sense to them. But to me, I was like, once you start apply that knowledge there, it don't work. It is totally fall apart. And I had to turn my brain off, but that was the problem. Because the movie trying to do this realism grounded. Well, this is how the rebels, and it's about realistic, how rebels in a battle and how the underbelly of the rebellion and how rebels don't have to be nice and they actually, good guys don't actually have to be good guys, quote unquote. It started to fall apart for me in that way, and that's the problem with the movie.
Well, on the subject of characters, I think they really try to establish a little too much about these characters and exactly the the most holy of heroes out there. You know, they have some evil or some, you know, they're not exactly white characters. You know, they have some gray. They're gray pretty much. Right. But I felt that they were trying to establish the type of characters that they are instead of who the characters really are. Right. So I kind of came out of it like, I wanted to care a bit more, but you know, the characters were just there. They were just doing their thing. Donnie Yen was doing his thing. And by the way, he steals his show, at least for me. Like at first I was wondering, why is he in the show? I mean, I love Donnie Yen and all that, but you know, he was there and he did his thing.
So the problem with that, I was a little cynical about Donnie Yen. Like I love Donnie Yen. Love Ip Man.
Ip Man trilogy.
Yeah, love his movies. But you could tell he was getting there just to cater to Chinese audiences.
Of course.
He didn't need to be there. But they did him like a kind of force-sensitive monk who's not really a Jedi, but he kind of have the force on his side a little bit.
And he believes in it a lot. So he's always reciting and he was kind of saying,
he was kind of saying all these kind of typical
the force
Asian.
Is strong with me. I am one with the force.
Right.
And,
But he ended up coming across a little bit like a kind of Asian stereotype platitudes type character, just yelling out
the kind of crazy monk kind of thing.
Right. And then the problem with the movie is that, again, because of the quote-unquote realism angle, and they try to do things in a realistic fashion, so you had this whole sequence which kind of quote-unquote explains why stormtroopers miss so much. Where you're saying, well, I have the force with me, the force is one with me, blah blah blah, and he was walking. And
but and in that moment,
all the stormtroopers,
they know they could have hit him at that one point. You know, forget the music, forget what's going on. They could have just hit him with one shot, boom.
Yeah,
but
nobody could hit him. And then they had a friend holding him up while he dying, and nobody hit him still. I was like, wait, where all these stormtroopers going, Jared?
Good point. Like, but you know, it's the like over dramatic moments.
Right. And I was thinking they could have just take the time and have him just come in and kill off all those guys and then, hold him up.
But you know why they do that, right? Because it's all PG-13. You know, if it's our headshots for both of them, right? That's the problem. It's
because Disney can't play it too gritty now. Disney can't do, people getting their head cut off or stuff like that. So that was a mistake this movie I had a problem.
Century Fox kind of did with episode 3. In a way, with Anakin, which kind of still don't make any sense how you could get your two hands and your and your leg chopped off in one fell swoop.
No, but that's the thing. This movie was it really like tried to do gritty, realistic thing, but then it turned. So it had all these tonal problems. The approach to it is in terms of why it is that you would do this in terms of a tonal issue. So that's my issue with it. Is that why it is that you have all these normal Star Wars shippiness in it, but at the same time, you're trying to be all gritty and serious. And that's the problem. The movie starts with that. The movie starts with this guy just shooting a dude in the back. And he's
and that was supposed to... Which caught me off. I was like, why would you do that?
No,
even if it's just to say... I kind of get why you do it, but it just
I get it because the guy he shot was a gimp, so he couldn't escape. So the guy had to climb, and he couldn't climb and escape now. So he's like, well, I'd shoot in your back. Look, I get that. But again, when you do that, and then you put the Star Wars bungling aspect in it, and what I thought they would have done with it, I would have thought, in my head, I had the whole Ocean's 12, Ocean's 11 kind of approach to it, where it's funny, but you have a kind of implying sense of violence in the background, but you do it like a kind of funny aspect. But they didn't do that at all. Everything was war. They made
it was serious,
war.
and it was a little too serious.
A little too self-serious, right? A little too serious in its own way, and that's why look. I can imagine, much like with Man of Steel. Man of Steel was the Superman movie I always wanted, and then when it came out, I was like, all right, I realized I don't want it as much as I thought it would. And it's the same thing with this. I can imagine a bunch of Star Wars fans were like, wait, we don't want Star Wars being as cheesy and fantastical.
Yeah.
And then they get this, and it's like, right, I don't think I want this movie as much. I could totally understand why this movie didn't get it as good score as it did. I still give it an okay score.
Yeah, me too.
It had a lot of fan service. It had a lot of moments I was really interested. Another problem it had as well was you're doing the whole Rogue One Suicide Squad idea, but the problem is that you can't you didn't get the group to come together and coalesce as a group yet. You didn't get that.
That was the one that was the one issue that I had. Just
and then
there wasn't really that much character in the integration. It was just, oh, we have to do this, and this is what we could do, blah. There wasn't any moments of them really working together. You didn't really get that camaraderie between them. It was just
and you didn't get any character moments with them, like they just bonded or nothing like that.
Yeah. And they were interesting characters, even right down to Felicity Jones, who I thought was okay, but she was decent. She didn't blow my away.
I get the idea of the characters. Like, visually, you get what they were trying to go for with these characters. So, like, okay, so I forget what was the Spanish guy's name. But
I forgot his name too.
Yeah, that's another problem this movie had. Like, he couldn't remember character names at all.
Yeah, like Jin.
Yeah,
Urso. I keep trying to remember Jin Urso.
And they keep pronouncing the character name differently, Jen or Jin or whatever it is. But I just couldn't, like, okay, because I'm not a Star Wars fan, it worked for guys like me who in between the situation. So I liked it, but I can imagine Star Wars fans hating it, as I said before. But here's the thing. The problem is that they could have paced the plot a little better. Because the whole point is that you're doing the idea of you're getting the plan to the Death Star, but a lot of that have to be convoluted. But they could have cut this scene and that scene. Oh, by the way, speaking of Man of Steel, Forrest Whitaker's character dies in just like how Jonathan Kent dies in Man of Steel.
Yes.
Same dumb way.
Yes, and
largely unnecessary.
Yeah. And speaking of Forrest Whitaker, oh my gosh, like, I have respect for him as an actor and everything. I mean, Ghost Dog, Last King of Scotland, I love the guy, but
right.
I felt that out of all the other characters in the movie, even right down to K2's, right down to K2S, so I felt that he was the most hammy of all he gave the most hammy performance to the whole show.
When you understand the character, I kind of get where it's going with the character. The character is basically like the Colonel Kurtz kind of character now. He's supposed to be he kind of went mad. He's an old soldier, and he kind of went off the deep end.
Right, so but what was with that voice though? Oh,
right, exactly. So I get the sense that he's supposed to kind of go off the deep end, and he kind of went crazy. So I get that. Yeah. So I didn't really have a problem with that so much.
But I had this particular moment with him trying to get information from this guy who had plans and
exactly. So they had a bunch of unnecessary bullshit in it now. Yeah. I was like, wait, why this scene in here? This scene don't serve a purpose at all.
No, because he never get back to it. It's just, he just did that, and then, big attack from the Death Star. It doesn't make sense.
And that was a problem I had with the movie. So I didn't hate this movie.
And also, before I forget, I find like the people who were in the Death Star itself, especially like Ben Mendelsohn's character, played Orson Krennic. I felt that it could have given him a little bit more to do. He was just like they're scowling like, I made these things and I'm not getting any credit, blah 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 blah.
Right.
And then you pay him with somebody Darth Vader, and then of course Darth Vader steals the whole show, man. I mean,
so he decided to go to Darth Vader to complain about this thing, and it's like, why go to Darth Vader? You couldn't go. Like, I didn't get that.
Yeah.
Like, I get Darth Vader is a high-ranking person, but Darth Vader, you're not supposed to go to Darth Vader for something like that. But whatever.
Exactly. But that's right. Well, I don't know if you were going to lead to that, but I was saying based off what you said, he could have gone to Peter Cushing's character.
No, but that's the whole point. Is that Peter Cushing's character taking his role now?
Oh, right. Yes. Now I remember.
That's the whole point. He's taking his credit for the Death Star now. Like, I get it. I get what they do, but like, he tried to go to the top now, and then Darth Vader have the worst scene in the movie with this pun.
Yes.
This terrible pun. Oh my gosh! Why did you say this?
I laughed at
it. That was terrible. That didn't work for me at all. But whatever.
In real life, though, like if you compare this version to like how he was in the old movies, you wouldn't see that. He wouldn't crack a pun.
That's
he
the thing.
Do that.
And I mean, I know a lot of people is complaining about the outfit, and it's like, I don't really mind that. He doesn't need that kind of tall guy in the outfit, whatever.
I didn't mind. I didn't care. He was there. That's what matters. But but before we get to rating, we have to talk about not motion capture, but just the visual effects in terms of bringing these Peter Cushings and these characters to life.
Here's the thing with that. In the case of Carrie Fisher, it kind of come across like a Madame Tussauds waxy museum kind of situation. The special effects, it was done very quickly,
Yeah, but exactly. So when I saw it there, I was just thinking about the character, not so much about how her face looked.
But I remember, so I went to see this movie a second time, and the second time
I still need to see it again.
Yeah, I went down south, and I was like, the second time I saw it, it's like, wow, you totally noticed it the second time. Wow.
That was like me and Paul Walker for Furious 7. Like when you saw that final shot.
The Paul Walker one was way better though than that. But Peter Cushing was not that bad. He has a mistake.
No, because of the shadows that they use, it helped to hide it a bit. But I felt like the eyes and the mouth you could pick up. Yeah, that's CG right there.
Exactly, but that was a mistake. They should give him too much screen time.
Yes, that's
way
the
too
problem.
much screen time. So he was like constantly talking, and they gave him full, well lit shots, you know.
Yeah, and they never cut back to like the other. They never do like a reverse shot. There's always him.
That's why I'm studying.
And if it's a reverse shot, it doesn't even last long. It's always back to him. Like
exactly.
the creator's almost showing off. Ooh, Peter Cushing's back. Ooh, you know.
That was studying. I was like, wait. I get all your real confident with this, but a little too confident. This not working out the way all you think it is, and I see in the bad special effect. The eyes was looking off as usual. Is the uncanny valley, and the mouth was looking real off. So I was like, well, if they just had him like on the side, and they had like if they did a side shot where like the Australian actor, the fellow was in the white outfit. I forget his name.
Not Ben's character.
Right, yeah. What's his character's name? I forget the character's name. But if they had him,
Orson, yeah.
Yeah, if they had him walk on the side to him, talking on the side, and they had Peter Cushing character in the shadows, like up close and kind of out of focus, it'd have totally work. But nah, boy, they just decided to just do this shot straight on for a long period of time. It's like, look, you're good at the technology, good at, but in that.
But don't use it too much, man. Before because I mean, it was cool to see him there first off, but then the illusion kind of goes away. It's like,
it was too much.
It's not real. I don't buy into it anymore.
They do it too much, and that was a big mistake. And well, in the case of Carrie Fisher, RIP, in her case, it was Madame Tussauds wax museum. It was looking bad. Sorry.
I was just more in awe of her presence in the movie. I did not see that coming.
Right.
I clapped just like everybody else when I saw it.
Yeah.
And like I imagine a lot of people would do it even
total
more.
Fan moment.
Yeah. But
I did. Great fan moment.
Yeah, I looked at the face, but I didn't linger on it too much. That's my point.
And well, Darth Vader was kick-ass too. I thought that was pretty good.
Of course, that fan service moment though.
Fan service.
Did not see it coming, but when it happened, I was like, oh wow, they did that. Okay, all right. They give him some time to shine. I love that. Yeah, I thought he was just going to be this guy in the shadows, just show up, see what he had to say, and go and watch episode 4 to see more of him. But I didn't expect that moment. But it's there.
And another thing is James Earl Jones was singing a little old. Well, and he is old.
Yeah, yeah.
He getting up in them years, so I was like, all right, cool, okay.
Yeah. Though I mean the action sequences were actually decent as well too. The music from Michael Giacchino I thought was great.
Right.
I like the fact that he paid a lot of homage to John Williams' score, with certain cues that you would know from his original music, but it's still not as great as John Williams' work. Sorry, but at least he made the effort to try to sound and do something a little different. So I give him credit for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought the direction was fine as well too from Gareth Edwards. I just find that the story just had a little pacing issues, especially within the first about the second act. Third act, though, on the other hand, I was just having a blast by this. Leading up to that moment, because that final strike was just like.
It escalated in such a great way. Because you really thought it was just gonna be this sneak thing, and then they just decided to just make it this kick-ass war battle.
Yeah.
It reminded me a lot of Return of the Jedi, the last action sequence that he did.
Yes. I'm glad that we get to see some dog fights in this one too. I thought it was just all, ground combat now. I didn't expect that they would do some more dog fights. I was glad to see that.
Right.
What else? Something I had in my mind there. Yeah, visually it looks fantastic as well too. I love the cinematography. I love the visual effects for the most part. Even down to getting Peter Cushing and Carrie Fisher's characters to be on screen. I just felt that young versions.
Right.
The Death Star moments I thought was interesting as well too, because not like in episode 4 where they shoot and then the planet just suddenly combusts one full go.
Well, remember they say how they were just just testing it out now. So the idea is just to hit the site. So they just put it on the lowest level and shoot. So it'll just vaporize a section of the planet.
Yeah, and made for some great moments. Some
like that first shot where they destroy the city, the Jeddah city, the desert city.
Yeah.
That first scene, I thought that was a kick-ass shot, because they show all the debris coming up and going up close to the Death Star.
Yes.
I thought that looked damn cool, Dread.
Yeah.
It has some like the look. Again, is icing over substance. More substance. Not too much substance, but more, what do you call it? Style, right? Yeah. Spectacle over substance.
More spectacle, not so much style. But the style is there, but it's just the spectacle.
Right, and it looked good. I don't have a hate for it. I'm gonna give him a rating. Just always a rating.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, for me, I would, despite my issues with it, I would still give this a lighter, decent 4 to 5 stars. I do praise, this movie for being ambitious and trying to do its own thing, even though it had to kind of piggyback on the fact that, yes, it's a Star Wars movie after all, so we have to do all the Star Wars-isms and stuff. I enjoyed it a little bit more than Force Awakens, but I still prefer the adventurous vibe of Force Awakens, because that's what we come to expect from, a Star Wars movie. Even right down to episode 3, as dark as it was, it still had that adventurous feel to it,
Right.
But this one here felt like episode 3, and in a way, a lot of people I see comparing it to Empire Strikes Back, but I would say in terms of like the Disney resurgence of the Star Wars franchise, I would say this is clearly the Empire Strikes Back of these movies so far. Yes, it's 2 so far we got, but yeah, this is the Empire Strikes Back clearly. I wish we got, characters that we cared about. I mean, they were there and they were doing this stuff, but I just wish that I got more character-wise, and I felt that the pacing was off, but still just trying to be its own thing and telling a story and really fitting it quite neatly. I felt into episode 4. I thought that deserves a lot of praise. So yeah, lighter, decent 4 to 5 stars, definitely worth checking out. All I was saying, closing though, is that I'm not sure if non-Star Wars fans will like this a lot more than Force Awakens. I think people more resonate with Force Awakens because we had new characters. It was like just this burst of energy once again, that just going back to the old film, the fun and the adventurous vibe of it.
Right.
And of course, which more or less has to do with the nostalgia beat and them having a, copy and paste stuff. But still, with this kind of dark war tone, I'm not sure if non-Star Wars fans would really appreciate it as much. But I still say, give it a look. Star Wars heads will thoroughly enjoy it and be like, oh yeah, now they explain why it was so easy to destroy the Death Star in the first place. Ha ha ha, yeah. But even if they look back at it years from now and be like, yeah, that didn't make any sense, and yeah, Peter Cushing does look good, I still think they will appreciate it all the same. So yeah, definitely check it out.
Right. For me, I give this one a low movie tone.
Not even a low IMAX, dude?
Nah, I can't give it a low IMAX. It's low movie tone. It's a movie tone. It's a low movie tone because it just couldn't gel together the way, and the more and more you think about it, the more and more it have problems. As I say, Star Wars is a franchise that you're not supposed to think about. And when you start to put mechanics into it and groundedness into it, you run into a bunch of problems.
Yeah, right. I do see this being as a not a top 10 for me, but if not within the 11 to 16 range, I do see this as an honorable mention for sure.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of the more better Star Wars prequels, if you will, that I've seen.
Right.
Yeah, even though, I say,
it definitely better than the prequels for me. I put it above the
I put it above 3.
Yeah, and I put it above Force Awakens as well. Because I think I just didn't like Force Awakens because of how derivative it was. So that lose so much points to me. But this, I appreciate that Disney decided to do something like this and put this out, because it's something that you wouldn't think Disney would have do. So the mere fact, it's a shame that they could not just put a better story and a better arc involved with this. Yeah. But yeah, for me, low movie tone, I couldn't really embrace it as much as I think it was, but I still prefer it over Force Awakens.
Force Awakens, right. I will say this much during inclusion though. I still don't like the idea of us getting a Star Wars movie every year. I just have a feeling that they will just get really desaturated. And
people gonna get fed up. People just gonna get saturated with Star Wars. Within 5 years, especially if they don't put it out so good, they'll just have mediocre movies going on. That's the problem.
Yeah,
I mentioned that. Yeah, I mentioned that with Force Awakens.
Yeah, just really hoping that they just make sure that they tell really great stories. This one told a great story, just needed some tweaking. But I'm just hoping that, that with the subsequent movies that we get, the quality of writing does not, subside.
Right.